I will have you select the OpenSchedule icon. By selecting the OpenSchedule icon, this will open the OpenSchedule application. OpenSchedule is broken down into three main parts. It is divided by the top toolbar, the left navigation, and the main schedule. OpenSchedule will default to the single provider view. If you have not searched for a provider in the past, you will notice that your field will be yellow up here. To search for a provider, you would put in the provider's last name and select Enter on your keyboard. Select from the provider from the list and select the Select button. When you log out and you log back in, PNC will keep the last provider that you had searched for in this field. You can also view a location view of the schedule. The location view will allow you to search multiple locations by selecting from the drop-down arrow. You can also search a schedule by department view. Again, the drop-down arrow will give you a list of multiple departments that you can select from. I am going to leave it to the primary care department. You can also search a schedule for a single patient. Over to the right, you will notice a yellow field. You can put in your patient's last name or number. I am going to be using the patient's last name of patient and selecting Enter on my keyboard to search for my patient. It will bring up a list of available patients with the last name of patient. At this level, you can also verify the patient number and the date of birth. To select a patient, you can either double-click on that patient line item, or you can select the patient by using the Select button. Once you've selected your patient, it will populate your patient's schedule. You can also view a patient's schedule by an individual day, by a week, by 2 weeks, or by a month. When on the single provider view, you can also do the same by selecting a day, a week, 2 weeks, or a month. I'm going to go back to the patient view. You will notice over to the right, you will see an IM notification. This is your notification if you have unread or unacknowledged instant messages. You will notice an IM bubble. The IM bubble will allow you to create an instant message from OpenSchedule that will attach context to the instant message. The green arrow will bring you back to your application manager. The clipboard icon would bring you to the patient's chart. The piece of paper with the asterisks will bring you to Open Registration. The little green money sign will bring you to the patient's bill. And the lock will lock the PNC application. On the left navigation, you will notice a little green calculator. This calculator will allow you to put in days, weeks, months, or years to determine when the patient's next appointment should be. By putting in the days, you will notice that the result will show here. If you were to select OK, it will bring you to that day to make the patient's appointment. By selecting T, it will bring you back to the current day. By left mouse clicking on a patient appointment, that will populate the patient appointment for you on your left navigation. You will notice a black line. Anything above the black line will give you patient information. Anything below the black line will give you appointment information. You will also notice that the patient's AKA or preferred name will be shown here. As the patient's appointment moves through OpenSchedule, you will notice down here that it will give you an indication of what is going on with that specific appointment. On the OpenSchedule appointment area, you can either zoom in or zoom out on your schedule to see a desired amount of time that will be shown per appointment on your schedule. You will also notice color coding to the left of any given appointment. The color coding will also be indicated by what we call the appointment status legend. By selecting the appointment status legend, it is telling us that this appointment has been made. The red line will indicate the current time. I will now be closing out of the OpenSchedule application by using the X on the top right-hand corner. It prompts me asking me, do you really want to close the application? And I will say yes. It then brings me back to my application manager.